I'm Chief Brian Kruzelnick. I'm the Fighting 5th Air Force Command Chief, and I am lucky enough to have Staff Sgt. Tina Moore with me today from the 374th Security Forces Squadron. So thank you for being here, Sergeant Moore.
Thanks for having me, Chief.
This is kind of a way of describing, I think, what our resiliency tactical pause should look like. And I know that you're tracking, you know, we have lost 78 of our brothers and sisters so far, and we probably need to start doing things a little bit different. So the Chief Staff of the Air Force came down, and they kind of want, really at the squadron level, to have small group discussions and kind of see how we can be better and grow from these discussions. And not to point blame or say somebody did something wrong or organization did something wrong, but forward thinking and try to grow from the conversations we're going to have. So I think a lot of things have been kind of focused on suicide prevention, and then that's kind of where we led up to the suicides. But you know, let's take another twist on it. Let's look at it from initially when something challenging happens to you, how could we engage early and often to try to help you get over that scenario? And you shared a story with me earlier, and I was wondering if you wouldn't mind sharing it again.
Sure. When I was an airman, there was a plane crash, and we had to respond with a bunch of other agencies. There was fire, medical, OSI, mortuary affairs out there. Unfortunately, there were no survivors, so we were basically identifying body parts and cordoning off the area so that people couldn't come in.
Wow, this was, you were a young airman, right?
Yes.
Wow. So I mean, to take a group of young airmen, young first responders, imagine wasn't just offenders, probably a lot of first responders, right? And seeing this situation, or do you remember any helping agencies out there?
I don't remember any helping agencies out there.
Man, so that's kind of intense situation to put some folks in. And I think a lot of times when we face these challenging times, it's almost like a grenade, right? So you pull the pin, that's the experience. But later on, there's the explosion, the impact. So either initially when you guys started doing the job, or maybe even later on in time, weeks, months, I mean, did you see any effect for yourself or maybe any of your team members?
I personally wasn't affected by it, but I know that there were definitely other people that were affected by it. We talked about it together as a group because we were the ones that responded. But I mean, having a helping agency, the MFLAC, a chaplain, mental health, somebody to come and, you know, maybe give us a little bit of guidance on how to cope with something like that would have definitely helped us, because we're not trained to give that type of guidance and how to come back from something traumatic like that.
Yeah, like cope from it, right? I mean, it's a great point. You're trained, right? You were trained to do the task. So we didn't ask you to do something you weren't trained to do.
We respond and then feel later. That's how I do it. But I mean, not everybody does that same thing, but that's basically how we're trained to do.
But sometimes we got to think about the other part of it, right? So every experience, there's going to be some residual. There's going to be some little piece of us that gets still captured in that moment of whatever we're dealing with at that time. So you know, what do you think we could do maybe better in that scenario to help you all cope, or maybe even kept you on the backside after some effects may have happened?
I definitely think that it's already started. I think that with recent events and things that have been happening and the high numbers of suicide that we've had, that people have definitely started coming around. I know that mental health and military one source and the MFLAC, like, they're usually always around and pretty present, and that's something that we talk about a lot.
You know, I keep going back to what the story you told me, though, and I was thinking, you know, maybe even when you guys went out there initially and you're going to see this event, you know, to kind of bring everybody together and say, listen, you're going to see something that's challenging, and we have helping agencies out there. They have yellow vests, as an example, and just go to them if you start feeling like this is a little overwhelming for you, and kind of help you through this scenario. Do you think something like that might have helped you guys at the early age, or would you not even thought about it at the time?
At that time, I didn't think about it. I know that I knew of those agencies and that they was there for us, but I didn't realize it, and I didn't see them out there because I was so focused on what we were doing.
You know, and then maybe on the backside, right, we talked about that kind of explosion piece to bring you all together. And I like the fact that you said, it almost makes you feel like you're not alone, right? 'Cause you went through this experience with everybody, so you all come back together, but there's not really that professional guidance, right, by a helping agency for the coping and to get over that piece. And I feel like that's the often an early piece that we need to look at. You know, we have an experience and then try to hit people as soon as we can after that, and even a little bit after that, as people start realizing the experience that they had and try to help them cope with it. Because not everything has to be clinical, though. Some
No,
people
definitely not.
Have you ever had a bad day?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not today, is it?
No, we're good.
I mean, there's times where we have bad days, and there's times where things aren't exactly going right, and we're not looking for a clinical help. We might just be looking for somebody to listen. And I think maybe look at that community around you. And I'm not just saying supervisors or leaders or command, just a community of people around you that say, you know what, Tina, yesterday you were happy and bubbly. Today, you don't look like the same person. And you didn't even reach out for help, so I'm going to come to you and say, what can we do for you? What's going on? And I've been married long enough to know that my wife just wants me to shut up and listen. She wants me to empathize and hear what she has to say. She is not looking for this dude to fix anything, right? She just wants me to listen. And I think we have tons of airmen walking around organizations that might be looking for something similar. Give me a couple moments of investment just to hear what I have to say. And I might not be in the squadrons that we have today, but it might be. And maybe we could be part of that community that helps that move forward. So maybe just kind of recap this whole thing. I think maybe we try to get ahead of the suicidal ideations and suicidal attempts, kind of late to need at that point. But if we get to the front side, and as we have these bad days, and we have these problems that arise in our lives, to have somebody there to say, I'm here to listen, right? And I know you're not asking me to fix anything, but I can empathize. Maybe I had something similar, and this is how I dealt with it.
And also that anybody can make a difference. I think that it's not just put on leadership or anybody, like it's somebody walking down the street. I think people forget that just smiling at someone as you walk by and saying hello, engaging and making eye contact could really cheer someone up. And I think that we forget that because that could change someone's whole day.
That's your superhero moment, right? I mean, we talk about superheroes all the
Yep.
time, and we think they're fake, but they're not. They're everywhere. That's the people that see something wrong and act. That's the some people that maybe even things were brought to them, and they act. You know, we try to build these environments of trust and safety, but we also have to be ready to receive. Mm-hmm. We have to be ready for Staff Sgt. Moore to come to me and say, I have a problem, and I need you to help me. And our relationship needs to be more than just like a high five walking through the hallway, right? It's got to be like, you know, meaningful dialogue that we have. And I think through that, maybe we have an opportunity to improve on some of the things that we're already doing. You know, so I want to thank you for your time. I know it's tough to come out and kind of talk about something that's happened in your past, but I think this dialogue that we have may be exactly what we're looking for to come up with good feedback and solutions, and maybe something that we can improve the enterprise as a whole and help our brothers and sisters deal with situations that they have right now.
I'm excited to be a part of your effort to make a change.
Well, it's our effort, right? It's always our effort.
Right.
All right. Have a blessed day.